Today I'm presenting my undergraduate thesis, Boys Like Me, Neurodiversity in the Young Adult Novel. Neurodiversity is a model of disability that explains that disabilities aren't inherently negative, but they're neutral and natural variations. This applies to novels in the characterization of characters with disabilities. Did you ever read books with characters like you when you were growing up, or characters with disabilities? For some of us, those are the same question, and the answer is no. And that has significant long-term developmental effects. Research shows that when we read accurate and culturally respectful depictions of marginalized groups, we learn to be more empathetic and understanding of those cultures. When those cultural groups are ones we belong to, our self-esteem, self-image, and self-efficacy grow. So positive representations of children with disabilities in the literature for children and young adults will help children with disabilities in the way they view themselves and help their peers understand them. So for this project, I wanted to see what the last 10 years of young adult novels had to say about characters with neurodevelopmental disabilities. My research question was, how is contemporary literature depicting children with disabilities? I looked at 30 novels published within the last 10 years that depicted 10 different areas of intellectual, cognitive, neurodevelopmental, and psychiatric conditions. I looked at each novel for how they portrayed the characters overall, how they portrayed neurodevelopmental differences, and what messages were in each book. My results were really interesting. Overall, 19 of the 30 novels depicted neurodevelopmental difference as positive, which is a significant increase from earlier studies. There were also significant trends that led me to hypothesize that neurodivergent literature was becoming a subgenre. For example, 29 out of the 30 works featured dysfunctional families. There were also significant overlaps. One concerning area of these overlaps were the negative social outcomes normalized within the novels. For example, 26 of the characters were bullied, and 26 of the characters between the ages of 12 and 18 years old considered suicide. We're normalizing ideas of suicide for young adults with neurodevelopmental differences. Things that were absent were also of note. For example, in the 30 novels, only one depicted a character engaging in sexual activity. However, when we think of our own development through the teenage years, sex and sexual humor are a big part, but only 7 even featured dirty jokes or other areas of typical development. Overall, this research leads me to additional questions and further studies. Follow-up studies could include understanding how this literature impacts young adults by surveying the availability, and eventually a pre- and post-test study to examine the impact of this work.